So somehow people are celebrating the boss of ASIO, Duncan Lewis's attempt to make Pauline Hanson look stupid for asking if there's any connection between refugees and terrorism.
Do you believe that the threat is being brought in possibly from Middle Eastern refugees that are coming out to Australia?
I have absolutely no evidence to suggest there's a connection between refugees and terrorism.
Is this a joke? The 15-year-old kid who killed Curtis Cheng in the middle of the street in broad daylight while shouting Allahu Akbar was a refugee from Iran.
I have absolutely no evidence.
Man Monis, who was known to police by members of the Islamic community prior to the Link Cafe siege, where 2 hostages were murdered, was an Iranian refugee.
I have absolutely no evidence.
Newman Haider, the ISIS-supporting man who stabbed 2 police officers in Melbourne, was an Iranian refugee.
I have absolutely no evidence.
Muhammad Ali Barialeh, who became a recruiter and fighter for ISIS, was an Afghani refugee.
I have absolutely no evidence.
Saini Idu Owais, the man who plotted the attack against the Holsworthy army base, was a Somalian refugee. I don't understand how this is some kind of a sucked in Pauline Hanson. The ASIO boss must be blind, or he's just blatantly lying to the Australian people. Duncan Lewis stamped his moral high ground by saying, "We don't look at people's religious beliefs when investigating violence and terrorism." Then when Pauline Hanson asked him if there was any radicalisation happening within Australian mosques, he said he could not comment on the internal operations of ASIO. Gee, Duncan, a minute ago you were virtue signalling about how you don't look at religious beliefs when you investigate terrorism, but now you're openly admitting that there's an investigation into mosques. You even had the gall to say that of 12 terror attacks, one of them was done by a right-wing extremist. Give me a fucking break. If those Australian examples aren't good enough for you, let's take a quick look at Europe. The Manchester bomber was the son of Libyan refugees. 7 of the 9 jihadis in the 2015 Paris terror attacks pretended to be refugees to get into France. The Berlin lorry driver who killed 12 people and injured 49 was a refugee and a criminal who fled persecution in Tunisia. The Ohio stabber who praised an Al-Qaeda terrorist on Facebook before stabbing the students was a Somalian refugee. The Stockholm truck attacker who killed 4 people and injured many others was a failed asylum seeker. If you still think ASIO's biased crap made Pauline Hanson look stupid, just remember that ISIS admitted that they would send their fighters in by taking advantage of the refugee crisis. So yeah, I think it's fair to say that there might be just a little connection between refugees and terrorism.
I have absolutely no evidence to suggest there's a connection between refugees and terrorism.
You talk like a fag, and your shit's all retarded.